Hello, everybody. How you doing? You're welcome to the channel. So, Chelsea fans, welcome to Up Chelsea TV. Here we talk about only Chelsea stuff, Chelsea news, transfer updates, and pre-match preview. So, this live stream will be previewing the match between Chelsea and Leeds United. It's an away game, obviously. So, maybe that can play into Chelsea's hands a bit, where you're looking at maybe Leeds United will be more adventurous, will be looking to come out and attack because Chelsea playing against the likes of Arsenal, it's difficult, but Arsenal will open up. They'll open up, they'll come to play, and then you can take advantage. You play against Manchester City, the same thing. You play against Manchester United, the same thing. Against Liverpool, the same thing. But when you come up against some sides, maybe they don't attack you as much. Maybe you don't have the opportunity as much to go in behind. But with Leeds United under Farker, he showed himself that he's one of those managers that doesn't mind, attacking, doesn't mind coming forward. So let's see. Hopefully that's what happens. And with Caicedo out injured, who do you think should be coming on for him? Who do you think should be coming on for Moises Caicedo? If you want to join the video, I will drop in the link in the chat so you can click on it and join so we can have a discussion as well. So who do you think should be taking up his spot? So Dario Esugo, Andre Santos. Esugo, I don't think is fully fit at this point in time, but Esugo isn't fit at this point in time, but in Andre Santos, he's proven himself that he can be that capable replacement or competition for Caicedo. And one thing, this is not to criticize Caicedo, I think he's a bit calmer than Caicedo. So I think that could play to his advantage. But I think overall, Caicedo is a better player. We're not going to argue about that. So the question is, if Cole Palmer is fit, do you plug him in immediately? Do you say, go and play? Or you still kind of stick with what you have? I know a lot of people are saying he's better and that Chelsea play better have been playing better with Cole Palmer not being in the team. Yeah, Chelsea have played well, and it's one more stripe, on the shoulders of these players because you don't want the team to be a Palmer FC or one player FC where you're seeing players sort of drift out when Cole Palmer is not there, the entire team crumbles. So it's a good thing that you have players stepping up to the plate. But I think Cole Palmer in this team makes this team far better because certain decisions that he makes, certain passes that he makes, and his finishing ability. Because as I've said it, if Chelsea had someone that could finish in that game versus Arsenal, before Arsenal got their first chance, Chelsea could have quite easily been 2 goals ahead. But a lot of people play with their chances. João Pedro, so that's another question I'll be asking. Do you think João Pedro should be starting this game as at Leeds United? Because João Pedro is one player that he would score goals, but he needs a ton of chances. He needs like 5, 10, 5, 8 sort of chances before he scores one. And in the Premier League, you don't get those opportunities. You don't get those many opportunities consistently. Now you may get it in a one-off game where you meet an opposition or a team that is just horribly bad, but you don't get that on a consistent basis of, okay, this is how this team, as most teams will play. So that is the big question, So do you play João Pedro or do you go with Liam Delap? And then you look at the striking options, it kind of fades from there. So Emega coming next summer, having a look at him, some people are saying, oh, he reminds them of João Pedro. Right now, I don't want a striker that reminds me of João Pedro. João Pedro, overall, he is a top footballer. Control, poise on the ball, ability to beat his man. But see that clinical ability? You can't teach it. You just can't teach it. You may be able to refine it, but you can't teach it. Put your leg where no one wants to be. Put your head where no one wants to be. Take that risky shot. Take that chance. Look at the game versus Arsenal. He had that opportunity, right? He had the opportunity, almost 1v1 with the goalkeeper, looking at the goalkeeper head on, and just decided to smack the shot somewhere else. That was absolutely bonkers in my opinion. So it gives me cause for concern. I'm not bashing him. Believe me, I'm not bashing João Pedro, but it does give me cause for concern that he's not as clinical as I thought he was going to be. In the Club World Cup, he got those goals, against who did we play? Those games with Fluminense. Yeah, he got a goal for Fluminense. He got the goal again, delightful finish against PSG. He got some goals as well in the Premier League. He would score. His technique is on point, but his decision making, when to take the shot, how to take the shot, is a bit of a bother. So have to look at that because against this Leeds side, while I think Chelsea should be confident, you should be supremely confident going to play Leeds. Now, if you're not confident going to play a side like Leeds, then what are you doing? You should be confident. But the question is, you should also be wary of Leeds United because look at how they play against Manchester United. Against Manchester City. They were a vast decision away from getting at least a point. Let's be honest. They were a vast decision away from getting a point because everyone with eyes knew that Bernardo Silva actually fouled the goalkeeper on the build-up to Gavardio's goal. It shouldn't have been a goal in my humble opinion. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. But for me, I feel like, nah. You have to be cautious with this team. You have to pick your team right going into this team. Enzo, for me, should start. No excuses about playing weekday and weekend. No excuses. Maresca has, unfortunately, said Reece James has to rest. He had an impressive performance against Arsenal, but he has got to rest. So fair play to him in that regard. Of course, you don't want him to re-injure himself again because having Reece James available is super important for this team. His growing versatility now is good, although I still see him as a right back. He's been played in several positions, so maybe you're having him rest and Andre Santos. And who do you have there? Is it Enzo? Who is the person to come in there? Because if you're not going to rush Cole Palmer, Enzo may play in that 10 role, which I don't think favors him anyway. I think his best when he's allowed to be free, chill behind, holding the ball, making the ball move, making the ball walk when he's in that creative 6 position. Like I've been saying for a long time now, that playing him in the 10 role, you're misusing him. Playing him as an 8, even, you're misusing him. And people often think that when you have a player playing deep in midfield, he cannot be a goal threat. He cannot affect the attack. Nonsense. Fabregas used to do it. Redondo, the best 6 I've ever seen in my life, used to do it as well. Play deep, but you see the entirety of the pitch. You know when to make your runs towards the box. You know when to make that late runs. You know when to make your passes because you can see the whole pitch. So for me, I think that's the best role for him. Cucurella, his 3rd yellow card against Arsenal. I think he should start. Who comes in for him? I think Cucurella should start. Rob Sanchez, I think although I have my sort of misgivings about him, but I still feel like, he should start. I still feel like he should start. He's done too well to be dropped. And looking at Jorgensen has never really inspired anyone with confidence when it comes to doing the primary job of a goalkeeper, right? When it comes to being on the ball, looking good on the ball, feinting and faking, attacking players, he's good at that. But when it comes to doing the primary thing that the goalkeeper is meant to do, shot stopping and things like that, Jorgensen is nowhere near, at this point I can confidently say that Philip Jorgensen is nowhere near what's his face, is nowhere near Robert Sanchez. So for me, Robert Sanchez will still start this game. Now the defensive pairing, that's where you have some issues right now. There's Chalobah, played well. There's Wendell Fofana that played well. Are you going to rest Fofana? Because Fofana, he has kind of a Reece James issue and a bit more. This is worse, which is he plays one too many games and he's out. You don't even know how he gets injured. So that is the question. Do you go on confidently and say, Wendell Fofana, go again? You played well against Arsenal. You should have ball carrying ability, to take the ball from defense to midfield very, very well. So do we start him? Or do you look at the bigger picture? You think ahead of Champions League games. You think ahead of FA Cup games right now. Because, Chelsea, we are in the Champions League. So that has to come into your mindset. This is not the Conference League anymore where you're playing against sides that, due respect to them, you can basically field any 11 and be expected to win. So the question is, does Wendell Fofana start? Let me know in the comments as well. And who does he start alongside? Is it Badia Shield? Or is it Josh Archiampong? For me, I'm thinking you go with Josh. Josh has been good. Each time he's played, people say he's young. People say he's a youngster. People say he's this, he's that. But each time he's played, he's shown himself that, guys, I am meant to be here, which is the best compliment or what you expect from an academy player. What you expect is an academy player that, you know, doesn't look like he's an academy player. That's the biggest compliment, right? That he doesn't look like he's an academy player. And so that's the link. If you want to join the call, you can click the link there and join. And so for me, he is in the, I would like to say that he is in that sort of level where each time he comes up, he's been asked to face Mateta. He's dealt with Mateta. He's been asked to face Isak. He's dealt with Isak. So what? And these are the two most physically imposing forwards you have in the Premier League. Of course, Gyökeres is there, but I have a sneaky feeling he could have held his own against Gyökeres as well because he is that good and composed. So he hasn't given me any reason to drop him. So maybe I go with Wes Fofana and Josh Achiampong to start. Or maybe go back with Chaluba. Chaluba, I think he's a very good player, but I don't have him at the high level where people have him. And due credit to Chaluba, good kudos to Trevor Chaluba. He played very well in that game, and he's been fairly decent. So maybe the same argument I'm making for Josh Achiampong is the same argument I'll make for Trevor Chaluba. In a couple of games, he's looked good. So maybe you go again, Wendy Fofana and Trevor Chaluba to lead the defense. And then you're talking about central midfield. Of course, Caicedo is out, going to miss 3 games, which is just upsetting and annoying. But that was a red card, so deservedly he misses those games and should treat red. So for me, I would go with Andre Santos and maybe Enzo to be those two sort of midfielders there. And of course, Rhys James has to miss this one. Unfortunately, you have to manage him. You have to look at the big picture. I would rather have Rhys James in the team than out like every other Chelsea fan, but you have to manage him. He's been fit. He ran that midfield alone for the better part of that game, because he had to shield the defense. Enzo had to do his thing. Caicedo was out. So for me, Gusto would be a right back in midfield, Andre Santos and Enzo Fernandez. Now the big question is, with Cole Palmer fit, what do you do? Do you bring him right back in? For me, if he's fit and ready to go, he comes back in. This is a game where he'll be tested, but I think he should come back into this game. Let me know your opinions in the comment section. And the link is in the chat. You can click the link and join the call if you want to. So I'll have it there. And then striker role in this game, I'll have a lap in it. Now, because the thing for João Pedro for me, I'm not saying he's worse than Delap. I'm not even saying Delap is even in the same league in terms of an overall footballer from a technical standpoint. But what I'm saying is, João Pedro, there's this thing about him. He likes to play at his own pace, and most teams will take that away from you. And the fact that he's not little, he's clinical, but not little. Now, clinical, he can finish. Little, he doesn't absolutely put the opposition away. You get that one chance, you bury it. He is not that. He is not that. So I don't see how he should. Still be playing. How he stays in the team, at least starts in the team. But I won't be surprised if Maresca starts him. I will definitely not be surprised if Maresca goes on to say, okay, you know what's going to happen? He's going to play. I will not be surprised. So I will not be surprised. Let's have a look at this. So who will be in your starting lineup? And then for me, I'll start Esteval. I think about the only mistake Maresca made in that game was taking Estevao off. I think that was one of the only mistakes that he made, taking Estevao off. I think Estevao did enough to be on the pitch. I think he did enough to be on the pitch. So, I don't know. I think we should have a couple of views. What's going on here? I can't quite see what's happening. Yeah, so for me, that's what I'll go. So for the wing options, it's a value on one side. And looking, would I go with Gittins or Ganacho? Maybe I would prefer to play Pedro Neto as an orthodox left winger because Ganacho is beginning to show a side of him that just frustrates me to no end, which is he always is seeking to cut onto his right foot and take a shot. And once that chance is not available, he either holds onto the ball too long or passes the ball way too back. So for me, that's the kind of issues I have with starting Ganacho. So I think maybe Ganacho is a go-ahead guy. That is, you're winning 2-0, 3-0. Then you want to put an absolute embellishment on the result. You want him to take advantage of the pace of the space in behind that the opponent has decided to leave. Then you bring him on because right now the Liverpool game is sure decided I love to see direct, run out the opposition, go on the outside, put crosses in, go on the inside, take shots. But he's not been doing that going on the outside bit for me. So I think that's been a problem for me in my opinion. So I don't know what you think about that. Let me know your opinions on that. Mm. So one moment. Mm. Okay. So fair play, fair play, fair play. So Chelsea fans, let me know. Want to know what you think about the game. Want to know what you think about the starting lineup that I picked. What do you think about it? Are you making any changes to the team? What are your thoughts and opinions off the back of the Arsenal game? Do you think Chelsea are in the title race? For me, I don't think so. I would love to see Chelsea are in the title race after a long, long while. How many years ago has Chelsea actually been a legitimate title contender, not just based off what you've done in the past? It's been a while. It's been a while. But to be title contenders is not just playing well against the big side because even newly promoted sides play well against the big sides. Like Sunderland played well against Arsenal. He's playing well as well against the other teams that will sit back, that will come up with defensive, issues for you, that will come up with different ways of playing you, So that is the issue for me. Chelsea have to prove themselves. My expectations going into this season was being the best of the rest, right? Being comfortable in top four, even with games to spare, winning a trophy here, maybe FA Cup or something, and then you build again going off to next season. Because I think Chelsea actually needs a little striker. Chelsea needs a striker that can take those chances. João Pedro, he needs way too many opportunities before he scores a goal. So, do you start João Pedro? I've gone for Liam Delap in my starting lineup, but who would you go with? Who would you see as your out and out starting option in that striking positions? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you think. This is Up Chelsea TV talking about Chelsea, Leeds United, or Leeds United versus Chelsea. So let me know what you're thinking about that one. You're super confident. I think Chelsea should be confident going into that game, but not complacent because we've seen it. Sometimes these players, when they come up against him like Burnley and I think they're less fancied, they just go into the game expecting to win. And if you go into any footballing game, even more so a Premier League game, you're going to lose. You're going to be disappointed. You will be shocked. You will be shocked. What you have to do, this seems cliche, but it's true. You have to match the effort of the opposition team. Whether you're better than them or they're better than you, you have to match the effort, work rate, press it, tackle it. And then if you decide you're better than, like in this situation, then your quality would then shine through and you can take advantage. But if you come with a mindset like we're the big guys, we are the kings of Europe, and you don't take this United seriously, you could get really shocked. Chelsea could get a real hiding. So for me, while I'm confident about the game, I just don't want the team to be complacent going into that fixture. So, and then talking about Maresca, yeah, what tweaks does he have to make? No, I think you go again. The same way you set up against Arsenal, you go the same way. Of course, Caicedo will be missing from that game. It's just sad. Got that red card. That is getting the chance to shoot and could and should have won, but he got sent off. So yeah, that's it. That's it. Gentlemen's opinions in the chats, in the comments. If you want to join the call, the link is in the bio. You can click on it and join, and let's have a discussion together on that one. So keep smashing the like button, keep sharing the video. Who you feel locked on it like this, Chelsea fans. Let's keep it going. Just come and just check something. So that's good news. That's good news if he does make that return. So I'll just share my screen so you see what I'm looking at. I think this is good news. So, what does it say? It says Cole Palmer return confirmed. Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca reveals England star will make long-awaited comeback at Leeds. So, happy days if he starts, because I think he brings that X factor to that midfield, that creative ability and the finishing ability as well. Although I feel like, come on, Chelsea, you should have a striker that should be taking that burden completely away from Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer's goals should only be complementary. But at this point, it feels like, yeah, Chelsea really do need, Cole. Yeah, we really do need his goals and his creativity as well. So, just opinions on that one in the comment section. And let me know what you want to see on the channel. And since this is December, we're heading towards the January transfer window. Who do you think Chelsea should sign? What area do you think Chelsea should get a player? If even that, if that, Chelsea go out to the transfer market and sign a new player in January, or not really bothered, or Chelsea shouldn't really worry. I look at the midfield, no issue. I just think in January, Chelsea should go out there and test the resolve of a club to get a striker in. Yes, we have the lab. He's still raw. Yes, we got João Pedro, but the thing with João Pedro is we are beginning to find out that he isn't the sort of striker that would give us the goal return that we need, that Chelsea needs, to take Chelsea to the next level. He will be good. He will play well with Cole Palmer. Maybe Cole Palmer coming up can cause an uptick in his fortunes because he has someone that's really creative behind him and they can dovetail together and play well together. Maybe. But the thing is, right now, he's not seeming like he's that clinical guy. He's not seeming like he's that person that would, take those 50-50 chances, those 40-50 chances. And even the clear big chances, he always seems to need several chances to score a goal. And that's not good enough. So, technically, he's a very good player. Very good player, nice one to have in the squad. But is he the one you want to have the burden of scoring goals for you? Initially, I thought that would be it, but from what I've seen so far this season, in the comment section, let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let me know. I don't think he is that kind of striker. He's more of that sub 9 withdrawn striker, that has to link up with other players. He's not the guy that has that absolute, um, lethal instinct in the box, scoring those goals like you have your Haaland, you have your Hurricanes, you have your Victor Osimhen. He's not even in that ilk. You can't have all the best players in the world, but he's not even in that sort of profile of players. So that's my sort of issue with João Pedro. So let me know your second lineup for the game. For me, I've gone with mine. I've said Liam Delap starting the 9, Cole Palmer, since he's fit in the 10, would have Estevallo out wide on the left hand side, have Pedro Neto on the right hand side, we have Pedro Neto out wide as an orthodox full a winger on the left hand side, and in midfield, of course, behind Cole Palmer, I would have Andre Santos and Enzo Fernandez in there. Of course, at right back, Malo Gusto, left back, Cucurella. Center defensive pairing, maybe go with Chaloba and Wilfried Fofana again if his body can take it. That's another thing you have to consider with him, just like Reece James. And unfortunately, if Maresca is to be believed, he's not going to play any part in the game versus Leeds United. And let me know your score predictions as well. How do you think the game would go? Do you think it's one of those games that will trash Leeds, or maybe you're envisaging a more tightly contested game that could end up just being decided by a one goal? And for all those Chelsea fans that are out there that are super confident, that are getting arrogant about this, I say it again, against Man City, they were a referee's call away from that being a draw. Or for Man City, no one knows what would have happened if Man City never got that first goal. Because that first goal opens things up, and then you can take your time. Because Bernardo Silva obviously was fouling Leeds United goalkeeper. So they're not shabby. They lost eventually 3-2 against Manchester City, and they came back. At some point in the game, they came back. It was 3-3. And, the game ended up being, it was 2-2. The game ended up being 3-2. But they had that fight in them. So going into this game, Chelsea must be positive, must be aggressive on the ball. Press the same way you press against Arsenal. Press the same way you press against Arsenal, because in this era's Premier League, everybody wants to play from the back, except a few teams here and there. Everyone wants to play from the back. Leeds United are kind of that type of team. As long as you have Daniel Farker there, that's how they're always going to play, except he's sacked. There's some talk about him being sacked if he loses 2 games back to back. Maybe that happens, but Chelsea don't have to think about that. I have to go into this game looking at Leeds United, how they play. So they will want to play from the back. You must be aggressive on the front foot. Chelsea must be confident. Don't feel any shakes going into that game, but you have to be very careful as well. You have to be cautious. You have to apply yourself very well, with the same energy, with the same enthusiasm you play an Arsenal. That's how you play Leeds United as well. You make it difficult for them to breathe. If they pass the ball first, you calm them in their own half. And if, as Chelsea, you pass the ball first, we kick off the ball first, then we keep the ball and pen them in their own half that way. So that's how I look at it. So let me know your starting 11 for that game. Let me know who you want to see start. And then I've also asked a question about the transfer window. Who are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to Chelsea doing any business in the transfer window, or not so much? You think what Chelsea really have in house now is all that's needed? Let me know in the comment section. Anyway, good. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. So I'll look up for some Chelsea related news, and we can have a discussion about it before we end this preview to the Chelsea Leeds United game. A game that we're all hopeful and confident that Chelsea can win. And a big question: do you think Chelsea are in the title race? Because of course, playing well against Arsenal, then that brings the question, that brings the whole talk of, yeah, Chelsea are in the title race. Let's have that sort of discussion. But you have to perform well against every other team in the league, not just the big boys. The big boys will always open up, and you can play, and form sometimes can go out the window. But when you're playing, coming up against sides like Sunderland, who've already experienced at Sunderland, you lost to come to them. You're coming up against a side like Brighton, it comes against a side like Leeds United. They're going to be difficult for you to break down. But if you even think, if Chelsea fans, we think we are even in a title race by any stretch of the imagination, these are games that Chelsea should be winning, not drawing, winning. Because you win these games, then you go into those supposed big games or more fancied games with maybe a draw being sufficient for you in some games and things like that. So, let me know your opinions on that one. And also, what do you feel about Cole Palmer starting? What do you think about Cole Palmer starting? And also, what do you think about Reece James? Because, like I said, Enzo Maresca said he will be rested. He would not play that game. So, what do you think about that? He says he's not going to play. He's not going to start. What's his opinions on that one? Do you think that's a mistake being made by Enzo Maresca, or you quite see where it's coming from? For me, I see where it's coming from. If Andre Santos and Enzo Fernandez can come up with a midfield partnership that sees Chelsea win the game as Leeds United, then they're not meant to. Then they're not meant to be. Then they're not meant to be at Chelsea. They should be able to. And Enzo Fernandez has shown himself that, yeah, he's beginning to get more adapted to the Premier League way of playing. He's getting embracing his physicality more in the Premier League. Although he's not that super athletic player, but he's embracing the athletic part of the game in Premier League more. So, what do you feel about Enzo or Maresca? I want him starting every game, but we have to manage him also. Reece James can play both fullback and midfield. This guy is a cheat code. Okay, no, that's what someone else has said. So we have to manage him. Yeah, you have to manage him. I know Chelsea fans would love to see Reece James start. I would love to see him start. But I don't want a situation where he starts and then for the next 4 or 5 games, we don't see him. And that's why I was telling people that, you see, this midfield business is not a safety net. Because we are thinking, oh, the fact that Reece James plays in the midfield, that's why, he has been, that's why he hasn't been injured, because he plays in midfield. The midfield is even worse because that's where all the tackles come in, the strikers, the midfielders, all the physical players. That's where they go through. So it's not less physical. It's even more so because as fullback, most times the only thing you do, you go up and down, and you face off most times 1v1 against a winger, and sometimes you have help from a centre back or a defensive midfielder coming to double up on a winger. But in the midfield, you're making those tackles, you're riding tackles and challenges, you're forcing play, creating. So it opens the doors for injury. So I get why he has to be rested. I think Gusto hasn't felt decent this season. He had a patch on his right thigh during the Arsenal game. I hope that's not a serious injury, and I hope he gets to play, in that what's it called now, in the Leeds United game. I've made my starting lineup. He plays the right back for me. Andre Santos and Enzo Fernandez in the midfield, that central midfield area. Cole Palmer in the 10, Estevayo on one side, and Pedro Neto on the other. Because Gittins for me, yeah, a lot of you guys out there rated Gittins. Like Gittins, get Madueke out. Nah. Gittins is not an improvement on Madueke. Whether you rate Madueke or you do not rate Noni Madueke, Gittins is not an upgrade. Maybe at some point in his career he becomes better, but right now his production isn't that great. He's spacey. I'll give him that. But how many teams are really going to give Chelsea that opportunity to be going in behind them with long balls and pace and all that when you haven't got the first goal, when you aren't even leading? So, and even sometimes against newly promoted sides, you can get that first goal, but they always feel like just one goal in the game, we can still be tight at the back, and with 20 minutes to go, we can throw everything at Chelsea and maybe nick a draw. And that happened. That can happen at Chelsea. That can happen at Chelsea. So you need people that are able to force the play a bit more than Gittins. Gittins, he has all the physical attributes. Pace, I think he's about 6 foot. So he's a tall winger, or is he slightly shorter than that? But he has every attribute to be an imposing winger. But I think mentally he's not quite there. Psychologically, he's not quite there yet. He seems a bit still afraid. He has all the technique to wow you, passing the ball with his back and things like that. But it just doesn't. He just doesn't look right to me at this point. I think Maresca maybe has seen that as well. That this guy just doesn't seem, right, fully there. He doesn't seem fully there. He is a good player, but it doesn't seem like he's all the way there. So, I mean, I don't think this is going to happen. No, I don't think it's going to happen because talking about Mike Minion, because people that the directors have been proven right so far with Robert Sanchez. So I don't see why they will go out there to sign Mike Minion, because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we'll go out to get Mike Minion and all that." But I felt like even when you knew Sanchez wasn't that great, they still stuck with him. They still said, like, we rate him highly. We're not going to pay 25 million euros, which is absolutely nothing in footballing terms for a goalkeeper of Mike Minion standing. But so you can imagine now that he's playing fairly well, I don't think they're going to have a discussion. I think they'll ride into, almost say right into the sunset, but they'll ride into, that is Chelsea board of directors. I think they'll ride into 2026-2027 season with Rob Sanchez. Maybe they could sell him, but Mike Penders then comes in to be the number one as opposed to going out there and signing a new striker. So let me know your opinions on potentially signing Mike Minion. Yes or no? You favor the deal? You don't favor it? I don't see that. I don't think that it happens. That's just the way I feel. I don't feel that it actually happens. I don't feel it actually happens. So that's how I see the whole Mike Minion business. I don't see that. So the game is going to be by 8:15 p.m. UK time. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on that one. I want to thank everyone who's been watching this stream with me, subscribe to the channel, and sharing the videos as well. Like I said, if you have any comments, please comment in the comment section. And like I said, help us get to, at least by the game, we should be like 200 subscribers at least right now on the Up Chelsea TV. Right now we're on 140 something. If we can get to 200 subscribers, that would be grand. Please smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I will see you most definitely after the Chelsea game for a review of that game. So at this point, I've come to the end of this video. Have a splendid rest of your day. So if you're joining, thanks for joining. Let me know your opinions on the Leeds United game. Are you confident about that game? Is that a game you see Chelsea absolutely running riot, or you're more cautious about it? It's more of a game where you feel like Chelsea are good, but we're good. You're confident, but you still see some risk, from Leeds United. Of course, for me, I see some risk. I see things, that can go wrong in that game. So I see things that can go wrong in that game. But I think Chelsea should be confidently going into that game. I want Chelsea to be able to hit on the break, take advantage of openings. But to do that, you have to start aggressively. You have to press them off the ball, pin them in their own half, because I know under Farka they're going to look to play out from the back. So squeeze them in their own half, start aggressively, and hopefully you get a win. So at this point, I've come to the end of the video. Massive thank you to everyone who has watched, and I'll see you on another video. So stay well and